What's going on, guys? In this video, we're talking about why you need to stay single and boring for 3 years. This is an absolute requirement for any man in his 20s. You have to do it. This video is inspired by a conversation that I had with a guy inside of my school community. We were talking about, he's in his early to mid 20s and he's in that spot like a lot of you guys are, where you don't have any money. You're not in the good lifestyle that you want to have. You just haven't established yourself. And he's like asking me questions about like, hey, can't I just go enjoy my life? And he's asking me these kind of questions, and this is kind of inspired by the conversation that I had with him, because this is a really important concept you guys need to understand. You have to stay single and boring for 3 years. It will change your life, I'm telling you. So here's the thing, guys. Most of you feel this incredible sense of urgency in your 20s. Most men are going to feel this way in their 20s. I felt this way in my early 20s. You feel like, truthfully, as a man in your early to mid 20s, you are at the bottom of the totem pole in society. You are the equivalent of a private in the military. You have not accomplished anything. You have no resume. You have a boyish physique. You have a weak mind. And you might not believe this right now, but trust me, your mind is a lot weaker than it's going to be in your late 20s and things like that. But you have this sense of urgency. You want to get out of this situation. You feel like life's passing you by, and society tells you that your early to mid 20s are like the prime of your life, which is a huge mistake. And so they're giving you all this kind of stuff, and you feel this urgency. You feel like life's passing you by. It also doesn't help that when you're in your early to mid 20s, a year feels like a long time. And so you're like, I can't tolerate another year like this. When in reality, as you age, I'm in my late 20s now, you realize a year really just ain't shit. Like a year is just whatever. Like this is just kind of the price of doing business. To be a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you need to put in 10 to 15 years, right? Like that's the game. Life is measured in decades, not months. But when you're in your early 20s, in your mid 20s, excuse me, you don't have this perspective. And so everything feels urgent. It needs to happen now. You have no patience, and you're trying to like put yourself in this spot where like you're enjoying your life at a phase when you really shouldn't be focused on enjoying your life. And here's what this looks like. It looks like going out with your friends, and these are friends that you probably had from college or high school, or like they're not people who are truly aligned with the man that you want to be in life. And again, the reason I can talk about this stuff is because I've been here, right? In my early 20s, I just had a bunch of shithead friends around me who like I don't talk to any of them anymore. I don't get along with any of them anymore because we just weren't aligned, right? Very few people are actually trying to go for something in life. And if you are one of those guys, you're just going to find that 99% of people aren't going to click with you. But you're in your early 20s and you haven't quite grasped this, and so you're trying to keep these people around. So you're out at some shitty bar. It's $4 beer night at the fucking dive bar, and we're all just gonna have some drinks and talk, and like, because I gotta live my life, right? I gotta enjoy myself. And you think this is fun, but it's like, guys, trust me, get into your late 20s and have some real fun, and you'll realize this is hell. This is not fun. You're on dating apps, no matches, right? Maybe a couple you get left on red. Maybe once a year you get a date if you're like decently looking guy, but like you're just struggling. Like it's just rejection after rejection after rejection, but you keep doing it. You keep spending the little bit of money you got on Tinder Gold or whatever the fuck, and it's getting you nowhere. And you're doing this stuff, but you're like, I gotta get a girl. I can't live like this. And all, just like this urgency you feel. You're buying clothes, right? Again, I did this shit, guys. I was in my early 20s. And I was like, I gotta get this shirt, or I gotta get these pants, or I gotta get these shoes, because like I needed some sense of like respect on my name. It's this feeling like it's totally normal to feel this way, guys. Like you've got this thing where like you want to feel respected. You want to feel validated as a man. And it's just tough to be at the bottom. I get it. And so like you'll be like, if I get these shoes, like it'll just make me feel more confident in myself. I'll look like I'm doing okay in life. If I go get this upgraded car, right? Like I'll just look like I'm winning. And you're trying to do this thing where like you just want out of the bottom so bad. You want life to be fun, and it's just rough, and it's just like this thing. And so you're trying to do these like low level versions of what you really want, trying to like quickly grab it, right? You think like, oh, I can get the car that's like right in reach right now, and someday I'll get the Ferrari. Or it's like, I'll get, I'll date the girls right now that I can get on the dating app, and someday I'll get to date the girls I really want to date. And it just doesn't work this way. Or you're on vacations like this, right? At some fucking motel at some random beach. It was $80 a night, hair in the shower, roaches on the floor type shit, right? It smells like cigarettes. It's just like low quality vibes, because truthfully you're a low quality man at this point, and it's just a harsh fucking pill you got to swallow. Like you have not done shit with your life yet, and you might feel like you've done shit because all you can look back on is like, I went to college, or I went to high school, I graduated, like life should be better. And it's just not the case, guys. Like all of that is like the fucking sandbox. You haven't even played the game of life yet. And so you're in the game of life here, and you're trying to do something with it. And I'm telling you, like, this is a disaster what happens when you do this. You're at some shit motel, hanging out with shit friends, trying to stretch yourself financially to look like you're doing well in life, trying to date women when they're just not interested in you. And it's just a big mess. And this is what guys end up doing. You grow impatient and you feel like life is slipping by you, so you live it up. And this is what people say, right? The quote, live it up thing, where it's like, oh, I can't let my life pass by. I got to enjoy my life, right? Like, live a little. And like, people will even tell you this. They'll justify this. They'll be like, hey, like, it's about balance and this kind of stuff. But the thing is, the people who are telling you it's about balance aren't people that have the life that you really want. Let's be real. Like, I've never heard Alex Hormozy or Andrew Tate or like anybody, insert whoever you find motivational that you want to be like. I've never heard them say that when you're in your 20s, you need to have balance. I've never heard them say that in your 20s, you should live it up. In fact, I've heard the exact opposite from all of them. First Man says this kind of stuff. I say this kind of stuff. Like, you have to give this shit up, guys. I'm telling you, the live it up thing is a huge fucking mistake. Impatience leads to low quality fun and lesser versions of what you could have. This stuff right here is all low quality, lesser versions of what you really want. What you really want is you want brotherhood with people who are on a mission with you. You want to be financially set. You don't want the fucking $18,000 used car that you can afford now that's better than your high school car. You want the nice car, the actual nice car. You don't want to spend $180 on a pair of shoes to make you look like you're winning. You want to be able to buy the whole wardrobe and not stress about it. You don't want the sea dip at Myrtle Beach or some shit like that, right? Like, and you know how I know this is because this is the kind of shit I was on in like at 20 years old, right? I gotta go to the sea dip or some shit, like, because we gotta live it up a little bit, right? You don't want that kind of shit. You want the penthouse Airbnb at Miami. You want to go to California. You want to go to a national park. You want to go to Europe. You don't want this shit, but it's all you can grab right now. And so you're going for it. And it's a huge mistake, guys. If you just stayed single and boring for 3 years, here's what could happen. Instead of getting left on red on dating apps and stuff, you could actually go on a date with that pretty girl. Because now you've developed your mindset, you've established yourself a little bit. You're not a finished project in 3 years, but you're a much better catch than you are right now. I can promise you that. And the girls will start to take note because most people aren't going to do this work. And so if you did, you are going to start to stand out in 3 years. It's trips like this, right? Like, here's me and my friend Kenny. You know, Kenny is somebody who's an actual friend of mine. We have actual things in common. We have actual values that we share. We have actual similar goals for our life. It's not some sort of like high school friendship where we're all lonely and just kind of hanging out with each other because there's nothing else to do. We're actual friends. And this is a trip that we took at the beginning of the year. We did this thing called a 12 by 30. We worked 12 hours a day for 30 days straight. And as a reward, we went to Miami. So this is us on jet cars out on the bay in Miami. This is the kind of stuff you can do if you just put in the work. Here's a trip that I took out to Arizona on a dune buggy right there. Like, you can start doing this stuff. I think it costs like $300-400 to take the dune buggy out for a couple hours, right? Like, you literally like cannot afford this kind of shit in your early 20s, right? And I'm not at the top of the totem pole, guys. Like, I've made a lot of progress. I'm doing better than average. But I'm almost like telling you this, guys, from like not the top, but I'm telling you all of this as a guy who went through the shit and has gotten to a point where life's decently good and I'm still climbing, but I can like show you guys the way from a few steps ahead of you and show you like what's possible. I have a dating life now, whereas in my early 20s, I couldn't get a date and I was in shape and it was still tough. Like, I could get a date. Like, I went on a date probably like from 20 to 23, 24 years old. I think I went on like 1 to 2 dates per year on average. That's like, and that's better than most guys are doing out there if we're being real. It's like, this is like, things get better, but you have to put in this work. You have to stay down, guys. It takes time to put things together. It takes a long time to put things together, guys. Like I said, when you're in high school, life is measured on semesters. You know, it's measured on a test that you have in 2 weeks, and then you're done with that part, and then you move on to the next thing. It's the semester. You have a class, then you have a new class. It's you got summer vacation and winter vacation. Everything is really quick. And it feels like that's how life is, and it's just not, right? Like, life is measured in years and decades, not weeks and months. It takes a long time to put things together, and the man who's mentally tough enough to understand that and just suck it up and get through it is the guy who's going to win. And you're never going to make it if you aren't willing to sacrifice years, guys. You're just not. I'm telling you, like, and here's the point with this. Like, this is a chart that I've brought up in a number of my videos. I haven't mentioned it in a while, but I wanted to bring it back. The y-axis here represents the quality of life for a man, and the x-axis represents his age. And what you'll see here is the red path is the normie life path, and then the blue path is the life maxed path, which is where you are maximizing your quality of life. You are living the best that's out there. You have your dream life, basically. You've created, you have freedom, you have finances, you're an attractive guy, you have a good dating life, you're in shape, you're pursuing your passions and purpose in life. That's the life maxed path. So what happens for most people, we'll describe the normie life path first, is, you're 18, 19 years old, you graduate college, high school, maybe you go to college, maybe you get a trade job, something like that. Your quality of life, as you can see there, bumps up to like a 2, maybe a 3 out of 10, depending on how high status you are in college, things like that. You're partying it up, you're having fun, goofing off. It's certainly better than high school, but it's like still, again, it's like a 2 or a 3 out of 10 quality life. And what happens is around you're 22 years old, 23 years old, you see your life quality dips back down to like a 1 out of 10. You graduate college and suddenly you are back at the bottom of the totem pole. You're no longer the senior in the fraternity who has some sort of clout. You are just some fucking guy, right? And it's just welcome to the real world is basically what happens here. And you're a bottom feeder. Nobody gives a fuck about you. You have no resume. You have no credentials. It's just, that's how it is for most guys. And then you'll see the quality of life picks back up to around a 2 out of 10. When you're around 25 years old. And what's happening here is like you're starting to feel this sense of impatience. It's the keeping up with the Joneses thing. You want to prove something to yourself. You want to feel like you're not a failure, because like every guy in his 20s has this existential feeling like he's an absolute failure. And it's not that you're a failure. It's just that you are so new to this game and you don't realize it. But this is how most people feel. And what they do here, maybe you get your first promotion. You go from $40,000 a year to $55,000 a year. You get a car that is a little bit nicer. You get a house or an apartment or something like that for the first time. And it's a bump, certainly, right? To go from, flat broke living with your parents to, a car that isn't embarrassing and a 1-bed apartment is certainly a big jump, right? But you're still living this super low quality of life. You're usually trying to stretch yourself in this situation. You're trying to enjoy life way too early. You're not really doing the work that is required to get ahead in life. And as you can see, because of this, your life quality just starts to dip as you move further through your 20s to your 30s, where you're living like a 1 out of 10 quality life. And what does that look like? It looks like the average guy being out of shape, the average guy being in debt. The average person has less than $1,000 in their bank account. It's stuff like that, okay? It's like your idea of fun is Red Lobster and movie night once a month. Like this is life for the average person. They're stressed about bills. They're tired. They're stuck in a commute. This is the normie life path, guys. It's fucking brutal, okay? And this is why I try to warn you guys to avoid this stuff. Now, on the flip side, you've got the life maxed path, and you will see that the life maxed person does not get that bump in their early 20s. What they're doing is staying down. They're locked in. They're doing the work. They're like, okay, listen, I'm not going to get where I want to get in any short amount of time, and I'm going to be willing to delay gratification, do the work. And what you'll see is this thing just starts hockey sticking. This is somebody who has been self-improving. They've been in the gym. They've been focusing on business skills, learning how to get ahead in life. They've been reading and studying and improving their mindset. They've been doing the work, guys. And it just takes off like a rocket. But again, when you see it on this chart, it looks like it happens quick. But understand that each one of these things on the x-axis is 2 years of your life. So let's say you start this thing at 18 right out of high school, which most guys don't. I didn't. I started probably at like 20, 21 years old, and I still didn't really quite understand this stuff. And so I didn't take it fully serious until I was like 23, 24, maybe even 25 years old. And it's just like, it takes time, guys. But you can see, like, if let's say you start at 18, you're not even really up to like a 2, 3 out of 10 quality life until you're 23. That's 5 years. Like, you're in the fucking trenches, guys. This takes time. And I think most of you guys are older than 18, and so you have a little bit more life experience, so you can get this done quicker, right? If you're 22, you have some experience, you have some skills, you have some credibility to yourself. So instead of 5 years, I do think you can get it done in 3 years. Certainly if you're like 25, I think you can get it done in 2 to 3 years, where you can really pick yourself up and out of the shit, right? You're not going to be a 10 out of 10 lifestyle in 3 years, but you could certainly get up to a really high quality lifestyle. And this is pretty much right on track for me. I'm about to be 28 years old, and I would say my quality of life is around like a 5 or 6 out of 10, right? I can go on trips if I want. I've got some disposable income. I make above average income. I'm in good shape. I can date decently attractive women. Like, this is the kind of lifestyle that I now have by putting in work. I'm not at the top yet. I'm not pretending to be at the top, but I have put in this time. And I promise you, life at a 5, 6 out of 10 quality versus a 1 to a 2, which is where most of you guys are at, far better existence, guys. You get to this point where life's actually like fun. You're like, okay, I actually like life. Life sucks when you're at a 1 out of 10, guys, and you guys know that shit. This is exactly what I did. This picture of me right here, this was me at a UPS store that I worked at. I worked here for 18 months, and during this time, I worked 80 hours a week. I worked my UPS job for about 40 hours a week, and then I would go home and work on my YouTube channel and the business I was trying to build off that. I was trying to learn how to build a business. I did this for 18 months. I think I started the UPS job at like 23 years old. I didn't leave it until I was about to be 25, something like that. And then before that, I was trying to figure out how to run a business. And this is the thing, guys, like business on the internet sounds fun. It sounds like this easy thing to do. And like if you have coaching and mentorship, it can be, you know, decently easy. Like it's a lot easier if you have coaching and mentorship. The guys in my Life Max group who like I help with their businesses and things like that, they're making a lot faster progress than I did. But like if you don't have mentorship, this shit is hard as fuck, guys. And so like I spent like 18 months just failing at business, trying to figure stuff out. Then I end up having to get an hourly job because I can't afford to live. I have an hourly job now and I'm trying to build a business and still failing miserably at it. This is life. During this time, I hung out with friends max once every few months. And truthfully, I didn't even want to hang out. I felt so embarrassed about where I was at in life. But like, you know, I had one friend that I kept up with during this time who was like a solid friend. And like, I would see him maybe once every 6 months. That was truthfully what it was like. Okay. I think I took one trip during this period of time. This is how it is. I went on max 2 to 3 dates during this period of time. It's just like, and here's the thing, guys, like you're trying to like, even when I went on the dates, like there's just all these elephants in the room. And what do I mean by that? It's like, elephant in the room, I don't have a place to live. I'm living with my parents. Elephant in the room, I'm broke. You know, elephant in the room, I just haven't developed myself yet. Like, look at my like look right here. I know this is kind of like a bad picture almost intentionally that I put on here, but like I look tired. I look weathered. I mean, I'm in decent shape, but like I've got the, I just didn't have my look down right. I'd recently started shaving my head. I didn't have the look down yet. I've got this weird facial hair that was kind of overgrown. I'm like puffy looking kind of. And like, I'm shitting on myself. Like, honestly, I was doing better than most guys at my age. I didn't realize it at the time, but like, this is just what you look like in your early 20s. Most of you guys don't grasp that in your early 20s, mid 20s, you just don't look like a man. You haven't found out who you are. You haven't found your look. You haven't found that sort of way of carrying yourself. And so it's just off. And everybody can just tell, like the girls can tell it's just off. Like compared to the top level guy, you are just off. And you just got to put in this time, guys. I'm telling you. The harsh truth is that this is what is required to get a good life. You need to be doing 80-hour weeks. I'm telling you. You know, I had this conversation with another guy in my school community. I'm doing another one of these 12 by 30s right now where, you know, I work 12 hours a day for 30 days straight. I've literally got the timer on my phone right now. I've got 10 hours and 14 minutes to go today as I'm making this video. And the reason I'm saying this to you is because this is the kind of thing that I do on a regular basis, even at this level. But anyways, I had this guy mention that I was doing the 12 by 30 in my school community, and he asked me if he should do an easier version of the 12 by 30 to warm up to it. He was like, should I do like a 6 by 30, like 6 hours a day for 30 days or 8 hours a day for 30 days? And I told him, I was like, and I like this guy, like he's a friend of mine at this point. I told him, I was like, dude, like you should be doing that as a bare minimum. 6 hours a day, really? You're in your early 20s. You should be, you should, every waking moment of your life should be locked the fuck in, dude, because you don't understand how much shit you're going to have to get through to get where you want to be in life. 6 to 8 hours a day is a minimum requirement, guys. Like if you can't look and be like, I'm actually putting in 6 to 8 hours a day on my goals, you got a problem on your hands. Seriously. And I don't care. Even if you've got a job right now and you're like, well, I have a job, I have to work or something. It's like, okay, every other waking moment should be focused on improving yourself. Seriously. You have to do this. This is the price that has to be paid. I literally got up, worked a 10-hour shift at a UPS store, came home, worked on a YouTube business, went to sleep, and it failed over and over again. Think about how much mental toughness you have to have. And that's another beautiful thing that occurs during this process is like, I got so much tougher mentally. Because you just like have to keep showing up and being resilient in the face of abject failure, in the face of feeling like you are at the bottom of the totem pole because you're getting rejected everywhere. And that mental toughness muscle that you grow in this phase is just, it's beautiful, guys. I'm telling you, like it's like it is the absolute. I promise this phase is actually a blessing in your life going through this because of the way your mind develops from it. I'm telling you, I know this is going to seem rough, and it is rough. but you need it. I promise you. It's something I'm telling you guys. But this is the harsh truth. You have to go through this if you want a good life. You have to do this. Okay? As a man in your 20s, you don't realize how fucked you are. Seriously, like you just don't quite grasp it, okay? Here's the contrast. Let's say this is you right here. You're just like a normal guy in his mid to early 20s. You're probably making less than $50,000 a year. You probably have a pretty boyish frame. You probably even still have some baby fat on your face. Like you just look kind of childish. And I mean, it's just part of this is just natural maturation, guys. Like as I've hit my late 20s, like I'm more vascular than I used to be. And it's like my diet has improved, but a lot of it is like as you age, your muscle density goes up. Your body hardens. You look older. You just look more mature. You look more like a man. And you think in your early 20s, mid 20s, you're a man. Like you're technically a man based on like the legal age of consent and things like that. But you're really not like a seriously like full-fledged man until your late 20s. I've just figured this out, guys. Is like just, I mean, your frame changes, your mind changes if you did the work on yourself. Like you just are a much harder person. Like I look at a 22-year-old now and I'm like, we are not the same. And it's not an ego thing. It's just genuinely a fact. I'm like, kid, like you've just got a long way to go. And I wish you the best, but like there's just levels to this shit and you still have a lot of maturing to do, you know, like it's just how it is, right? So look at these two guys, right? You're probably making less than 50K per year. You got a boyish frame. You're probably living with your parents with an old car. Maybe you've got an apartment if you're lucky. You're emotionally fragile and weak. You don't even realize this, but you are, right? Like you're bothered by if a girl texts you back. You're bothered by rejection. You're just bothered by the fact that life is hard. Like it's fucking rough. Like you're not cold-hearted yet. And like that sounds rough, but I genuinely believe a real man is cold-hearted. Not in like the cold-hearted sense of like he's bitter. He's cold-hearted in that he just has dealt with the difficulty of life to a point where he's just not emotional. Like it's just like shit just doesn't rock you, right? Like a girl doesn't text me back. Like I don't even remember that she didn't text me back. Something goes south, you know, or some shit hits the fan. Like I'm just so I'm just so much more calm with it because you just have just been through shit, guys, and you just don't realize it. And here's the other thing. You have no accomplishments. Like, be honest with yourself. You're in your 20s. Like, if you've been putting in some work, maybe you've done, like, some very entry-level things, right? But, like, truthfully, like, where's your resume at, right? Like, I believe, and this is a video I kind of want to make, is, like, men need resume builders. And what I mean by resume builders is not, like, a, like, resume you put on LinkedIn. I mean a resume like the same way that a general has that giant salad plate on his chest of all the accomplishments and stuff. You need a salad plate, basically. You need to be like, I did this thing. I did this thing. Like I'm a big believer in men need resume builders. You need to be like, I put in, you know, years in the gym. I was a boxer. I, you know, built a business. I, you know, did these things. I went to this location. I traveled to this thing. I was in the military. I went and fought in combat, right? Like you need shit that you can say you did. Okay. And like, it's an important thing. Like you have to have a resume about you. And it's just like, because this is what we're judged on as men is like resume, right? Women aren't judged on resume. Women are judged on different things. But as men, it's all about resume. And you know this, like the general walks in a room. Like I talk to guys I've known who were in the military, and it's like the aura that comes off of like a colonel or a general when they walk in the room is fucking crazy. Cause you're like, this guy's put in 25 years. The fucking badge is on his chest. He's led men into battle. He's led divisions into battle. He has set game plans to take over countries. Like, it's a whole different game, man. And like, I mean, I'm not saying you gotta be in the military, but like, even in business, like the guy walks in the room, you know, I met a guy who his net worth is over $100 million. He's built multiple businesses. And this guy is like, I'm telling you, just stone cold, like hard as fuck, dude. Like just no nonsense. And like you talk to somebody like this and it's just resume. It's just like, this guy's done some shit. Nick Saban, right? I saw this thing where Nick Saban was with Trump and Trump literally was like, Nick Saban, you go out first. He's like, you won that many games. You got to go first, right? Like, it's just like, this is the type of shit you need to be like, I did this thing. Nick Saban, I won like 10 fucking championships, right? Like game recognized game. It's like, you've done some shit, right? You put in that time, you put in the years, you put in the work, you did something. You need this stuff, guys. I'm telling you. So compare this guy to this guy on the bottom here who's making $400,000 a year. And I didn't even pick a crazy one. It's not like I put Andrew Tate or somebody like that on here. I just put like a normal guy who locked the fuck in and like he's a normal high value man, basically. $400,000 a year. masculine frame, right? He's built his body. You can just see this guy. Like, he looks like a man, okay? I mean, you can even see, like, the pictures here. Like, this, like, it's possible that this guy who on the bottom could have been that guy on the top. Like, they got similar hairstyles and looks, right? But just you see the difference. This is what time does for you. He's living a luxury lifestyle because of this. He's got a nice car. He's got a nice place to live. He gets to go on trips and travel. He's got cool connections and people that he's friends with and things like that. He's mentally tough and stoic because of what he's been through. Stuff just doesn't bother him. It rolls off his shoulder. He's got a resume built in many areas. He's gone and done things with his life. Now, you look at that and you just understand, like I said right here, as a man in your 20s, you don't realize how fucked you are. It's like you stand no chance against this guy. In any area of life, go pound for pound with this guy, you will get demolished. It's just gonna happen. Like, you don't, it's just, I'm telling you, man, like, it's a thing, okay? That guy at 32, though, he was just like you, but he was willing to pay the price. Some people think, like, people were overnight successes. They weren't overnight successes. This guy was just like you at a certain age, in his early 20s. It's just you don't know what he was like then because nobody gave a fuck about him then. He put in the time, so you didn't see the years. You think he just woke up like this. It's like, no, he did all this stuff. It was decades. It was time spent. Okay, that's what you have to do if you want to be great. If you want to be a man, like a truly respected, high-level man, it's time spent. It's devotion. It's being boring for a while you lock in, okay? This picture right here, I want to show you guys that I am no different than you guys. I've made these mistakes, and I'm hoping you guys can avoid it. This is a picture of me at 21 years old. I thought I was the fucking man at 21, guys. And this is why I know you guys think this. You think like you're on your self-improvement grind. You think you're locked in. You think you're doing well. It's like, bruh, like you're not. Like I had my first apartment here. I had a roommate. I was doing like, I had a little bit of money, right, in my career. Like basically just I wasn't like a flat broke teenager anymore. I had this girl I was talking to, and this is the type of shit I was doing, right? I'd send her this picture of me with the heart. Like, I thought this was funny. It was kind of like ironic. I wasn't like a complete simp about this, but it was simpy, obviously. It's very simpy, but like, it was kind of ironic that I was doing it. Like, I thought it was funny that I was being the simpy, but this is the attitude I had, right? I thought I was a real fucking man at this point. I thought I was hard. I thought I was a tough guy. I thought I'd really done some shit. I had this huge ego, right, in my early 20s, right? And you just think you're doing well. And I was trying to enjoy my life. I was like, oh, I can have a girlfriend now. Oh, I can, go on trips. Like, I went on a couple trips at this time. Like, I went across the country, and I don't necessarily regret that trip because, I did get to experience some stuff. It wasn't like I just went to the sea dip. It was like a cross-country trip that I went on with a friend. But I was like thinking I had earned the right to enjoy my life. I went on a cruise. I was like, I deserve this stuff. I've put in the time, and like I hadn't put in any fucking time at all, guys. Like again, you have no comprehension of what you've actually done with your life at this point because you haven't done shit. But here's what happened to this guy. This was him about 4 or 5 months later. This is what that guy looked like. Just fucked up, right? Okay. In this process, I got dumped, cheated on. My career fell apart. The little career that I had, I really didn't even have a career. So it wasn't much of a falling off, but like it didn't work out the way I'd hoped. My hairline's obviously receding. I had to move back in with my parents with no money to my name. And again, this is just life in your early 20s. This is when you try to fuck around, when you try to be like, I can do this shit now. Like, it doesn't work. The girl, you know what happened with the girl? Again, she dumped me and cheated on me. She left me for a guy who was probably 4 or 5 years older than me, who had been in the military, who was just much more masculine mentally at the time than I was, right? Because I was just a boy. Again, you're 21. You think you're an adult. You're not an adult. And like the level between a guy who's like 26, 27 and a guy who's 21, it's just like mentally like a different breed, right? It's just, I'm telling you, it's like he was just a far better. And I even got like, I remember I was on a forum trying to get dating advice when this happened. I was so fucking distraught. And this guy commented, and it was this harsh fucking pill, but he was absolutely right. He said she left you for a higher value man. You're not that guy. And that's what he said to me. And like, it was something to that effect. It was more details and stuff, but like, it was basically the effect of like, she left you for a better option, dude. Harsh fucking pill. You just are not on that guy's level yet. And it stings like a motherfucker, but he was right at the time. You know what I'm saying? When you're 21, you just aren't that guy. And like at 27 years old now, I see that shit. I see the puppy love from the 20-year-old, 21-year-old guy and his girlfriend from high school. And I see the way his girl looks at me, right? And this isn't to sound egotistical, but it's just like she knows it, right? She just knows like there's a different breed between her boyfriend who's 21 and looks like a kid and acts like a kid and he's doing all the mushy shit with her versus a guy who's just put in that time. And they all know this, right? And they might not leave the boyfriend necessarily, but they're just like, they're whipping this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just not that guy. And this is just unfortunately what you have to deal with. I'm telling you, this is like, if you try to do this early, you're going to get slaughtered. You guys just don't understand how hard it is to get where you want to go in life. It is really difficult to accomplish things in life. And I've just had to accept this. It's not about balance. It's not about, you know, having a little bit of fun here and a little bit of work there. It is just a pure grind. Okay. You know, Ilia Topuria just won the UFC, became a double champion in the UFC. He's been wrestling since he was 4 years old. And 10 years ago, he sent Conor McGregor a DM on Instagram saying, I'm going to be where you're at someday. 10 years of grinding to get to his goal, guys. And like, he was just locked the fuck in. Okay. Like, this is what it takes. If you want to do something great with your life, it is years in the trenches. It is doing the fucking work. It is not fun. It is not pretty. There is no sugarcoating it. It is brutal. And it might be motivating for me to tell you this right now a little bit, because you're like, fuck yeah, let's go and all this shit. And like, I mean, I do think that's a great mindset to have, like, get it done. But I promise you're going to get into this. And on day 3, when shit hits the fan and you're tired and it's not working and the thing you'd really been hoping for falls apart, it is brutal. But you got to understand, this is what it takes. Okay. It's only going to get better if you stop fucking around and get down to business. Guys fuck around, and this is why their lives suck. They just fuck around the whole time, and so they never get to enjoy the best of it. They're just half-assing everything, and half-assing it isn't going to cut it. This is another thing I told my school community, guys. I said, you guys don't understand the difference between somebody who's just normal versus somebody who's doing real shit in life, right? The average, I think 15% of Americans have a gym pass. So think about it. The average person's not exercising at all. You going to the gym once a week is better than them, but it's not enough. It's like the gap between normal and exceptional is massive, right? It's not 1 day a week. It's 6 days a week in the gym, training hard. It's having your diet dialed in. It's this gigantic chasm. The difference between the guy mailing it in, getting $50K per year at a job, and the guy who's making $500,000 a year running a business is not like a 5% difference. It is 1,000% difference. It is radically different. It's a completely different world. The work ethic is different. The mindset is different. Your approach, everything has to be different. You guys just don't get this. You cannot fuck around if you want to get somewhere in life. Pay the price early and live your dream life, or you're going to end up like this, right? We got beer gut guy, you know, like, I mean, it's funny, but it's true, right? This is what the average man's physique looks like. You're going to be the Fight Club guy sitting there with the fucking baggy shirt on, getting bossed around by some middle manager at a job you don't like. And you're stuck in this position because you're in debt for a mortgage, or you're in debt for a car, or you got a rent bill to pay, and you've got a girlfriend now that you're really not that into, but you know, this is kind of all you can get at this point. And so you don't want to lose her. And so you're stuck in this job and you're depressed. You're driving a car like that, right? You know, there's no shame in driving that car in your early 20s, but I would tell you, if you're in your like late 20s or at least early 30s and you're driving some like super like stock cheapola car, it does start to look kind of bad, guys. I will be honest. So like, if you're driving that car at 22, I'm not shaming you. Like, that's where you're at in life. But if you get to 32 and this is your life, like, dude, you fucked up, man. You really fucked up, and it's gonna be hard to turn the ship around. You can do it, but it's gonna be hard. And this is just the beginning. This is really where it stings. You're in this point, you're the Fight Club guy, and you're pining over a girl you dated 7 years ago, knowing you'll never do better. A lot of guys are in the spot where they're 30 years old now, and at 23, they had a girlfriend, and they were in love with her and mushy on their boyish kind of love, puppy love type shit. She left him for a better man, and he didn't do the work on himself. He kept trying to like live his life and enjoy himself, and so he has to spend the rest of his life knowing that was the best he could do. That girl was the best chance he ever had. And so now he looks at the girl he's with and he's like, she'll do. But like, he knows on some level the other girl was better. She was more pretty. She was more feminine, whatever it is. And so he just has to deal with that. He has to like lay in bed at night, and like every now and then he'll just think about what could have been. He'll have to think about that girl. And this is just the life of the average guy. Like, you'll hear it like from some guys talking about this stuff. You're feeling tired and bitter at life for all the dreams that never came true. Like, you're just tired. Like, you don't even try anymore because you're just like over it with life. But it's your fault because you never did what really was required to get where you wanted to go. And so you're bitter and you're tired and you just don't do anything. You go home and you turn the TV on and just cut your brain off, and just on some level you're like, I just don't really care to live this life, but this is what it is. And you're just like, you're just apathetic, right? This is where you end up. You feel powerless. You feel like a cog in the wheel, because you have no control over your life at this point because you didn't do the work. So now you're at the mercy of a boss you don't respect. You're at the mercy of a landlord. You're at the mercy of the economy, and the president has to do all the shit. And like, we're blaming the government for stuff because you have no power. You are a cog in the wheel. You're going to have a midlife crisis probably. You're going to be 35, 40 years old looking at your life, your wife who you don't really like, who doesn't respect you, you're not attracted to her, some kid who doesn't respect you, you're not making any money, and you're just going to like freak out and buy a motorcycle to try and salvage your life. Like, this is what happens to people. Everything you want comes on the other side of a giant pile of shit you have to get through. Harsh fucking pill, guys, I'm telling you. All of this stuff right here is on the other side of a giant pile of shit. The Ferrari, the super fast car, the cool shit, the nice house, the pretty girl right here. I put Andrew Tate, and it wasn't necessarily for Andrew Tate. It was more just like the physique he's got. And even that look on his face right there, that mentality, you just know Andrew Tate's got that alpha mentality. He's got what I call the douche mindset that we talk about on the channel here. He's got that douche mentality about life. You do not come out the womb with the douche mentality. It is built through suffering. It is built through a heartbreak. It is built through years of slogging it out, trying to build a business. It is built through people thinking they're better than you all the time, and you get a chip on your shoulder and are like, fuck you, I will show you. Like, it is built on that shit. It's not built on roses and rainbows and bullshit like that. It is built through pain. Everything you want is built through pain, okay? Being good with women requires a heartbreak. I'm convinced of this. You cannot, because if you haven't been stung by it, then you will just do the puppy love thing. You have to get stung. You have to get stabbed right in the fucking heart, take that pain, and turn it into the man that you want to be. Like, all of this shit is on the other side of fucking pain, guys. I'm telling you. And this isn't even 3 years of pain. This is like a finished product right here. Like, in 3 years, like I said, you can get a lot further, but in like this is, I mean, Andrew Tate's like in his mid 30s, right? It's grinding, right? Like, you're just, you are in the fucking trenches, guys. I'm telling you, this is male life, is being in the trenches. 3 years isn't even enough time to get you all the way there, but it will be enough to where you can start to enjoy your life some. And that's why I said stay single and boring for 3 years, because after 3 years, you can loosen up a little bit. That's where I'm at right now. I'm still working hard as fuck, and you really just want to train yourself to start working for your whole life. I mean, like, it's the most rewarding mentality when you can develop that approach to where, like, you find purpose in hard work. When you get there, like, your life will just be exceptionally better, because hard work is within your control. So the thing that you feel rewarded for is within your control now. You're not worried about outcomes as much. And then the other thing is, hard work just leads to better outcomes. And so, like, you train that mentality, and you want to live this way for the rest of your life. But after 3 years in the trenches, you can kind of like take your head up above water for a minute, and you can look around and you can do a little bit of fun stuff. Not a lot, but like, you can do some. And what does that look like? It looks like this for me, right? Because I'm in this spot now, right? I'm not at the bottom anymore. I'm not, like I said, I'm not Andrew Tate. I'm not, the world's most successful guy, but I am more successful than average. And this is the kind of shit you can do, right? I can pursue passions, right? I can pursue boxing and hire a boxing coach, which is something I love doing. I can, go to cool locations like this, or I can go to, like, there's me in Sedona, Arizona, right? Like, I can go travel and do some stuff. I can get up and go, right? Like, I work for myself. So if I want to go on a trip, there's no boss I have to ask. I just get up and go, and I can afford to do it and not do it in some shitty version of it, right? I can actually go enjoy the trip. You get what I'm saying? This is the kind of stuff you can start to do. You're still grinding, you're still locked in, but you can pull your head up above water a little bit and be like, okay, like, I've got a place to live. I'm not poor. I can afford all my bills. I'm not stressed immediately about finances. I'm in shape. I've developed my mentality. I've been through the trenches. It's time to, like, I can actually go out and do a little bit of cool shit with my life now, okay? Some people are just going to say this, and this is, again, what that guy in my school community said. He said, can't I just enjoy my life a little bit? Because here's what I told him. He was asking me about his dating life, and I told him, I was like, you don't need to have a dating life right now, dude. Like, you don't have money. Like, you shouldn't even be thinking about this. You need to get your money right. You need to get a place to live. You need to solve these problems. If you can't afford to buy nice food for yourself, and you can't afford a girlfriend, right? Like, I told him this, and he kind of, like, came back. Like, he knew I was right, but then he also came back at me with this thing of, like, well, what if I just, like, enjoy my life some, but do the work? And he started doing this thing. And it's this whole attitude guys have where they're like, can't I just enjoy my life a little bit? And they're asking you, they're asking for permission You're asking me for permission when you do this. You want me to tell you that life isn't the way it is. You want me to tell you that if you just, do a little bit of work and have a little bit of fun, you can still get the result. You want me to tell you that. That's why you're asking me this. You're asking for permission to get everything you want in life without paying the price for it. That's what you're asking for. So you're asking for permission because you know the answer. You know what I'm saying is true. You know that your life sucks and that you just need to lock the fuck in and fix this thing. But you're wanting permission for it not to be that way. You're wanting me to tell you it's different, but it's not. This is the path, okay? But here's what I tell you, and this is what I told him. I said, at the end of the day, this is your life. You can do whatever you want. I tell you what, I say, listen, if you want a life max, if you want a good life, if you want to actually enjoy yourself, you're going to have to lock the fuck in. But you have one life here on earth. I don't particularly care. If you want the normie life path, if you want a half-assed version of what you really want, if you don't really want to work that hard, then fine, do what you want to do. Just understand that things have consequences. Choices have consequences, right? That's why I put that here. It's just like there's a lot of people out there that they want things, but they're just not willing to pay the price for those things. This is like everybody wants a private jet. Everybody wants a boat. Everybody wants a Ferrari. Everybody wants a six-pack. Everybody wants the baddest chicks on the planet. Everybody wants these things. But are you willing to do what it takes? And that's the question. And everybody thinks that they should be able to just get these things doing it how they want to do it, when there is a very clear process to do this. It is, it's Bruce Wayne in Batman Begins when Ra's al Ghul brings him and tells him in the prison cell, he says, go find the blue flower, and if you can make it to the top of the mountain, then we will welcome you in. It's like it's not like Bruce Wayne was like, well, couldn't I just, meet you in town square? It's like, no, you have to climb the fucking mountain. You have to find the flower, climb the mountain through the cold, get to the top, and that just gets you in the game, and now you're going to train and be disciplined, right? This is the game. Everything has consequences. Choices have consequences, and you can't be in this space. You're just fooling yourself if you want something that you're not willing to pay the price for, and really you're making yourself suffer unnecessarily. If you have desires that you're not willing to pay the price for, then you are just suffering unnecessarily, because you're never going to get the thing if you won't pay the price for it. There's no reason, if you're not willing to spend $1 million on a house, there's no reason to want $1 million house. You might as well just let go of wanting it if you're not going to pay the price for it. And so that's the thing I advocate to you guys. I think the best life path is the life max path. I think that it's worth it. I think that a life of purpose and hard work and getting to experience the best, I think that's what life's all about. That's what, if you really buy into what I talk about on this channel, then you believe that too. But if that's not what you want, then, no big deal. Go be normal. Go do what you want. That's fine. Khabib said it best. He said, you can do whatever you want. He said that at the press conference that time, when he was talking to Patrick Bet-David, maybe he was like, you can do whatever you want. This is your life, right? But there are certain things that have certain price tags associated with them, and you can't just ask for a discount from life. You have to pay full price. And every second, this is important, right? You'll ask me this question, and I'll say that, hey, listen, you can do whatever you want, but here's the thing. Every second you spend distracted from the inevitable work that needs to be done is just more time you have to spend at the bottom of the totem pole. Every time you try to get out of that bottom of the totem pole situation by, quote, living a little, is just more time you have to spend at the bottom. It's just a math equation. There's a certain part of this where it's just time spent. You have to spend a certain amount of time on something to get the results that you want. And you have to understand that. It's paying down ignorance debt. It's paying down the hard work that has to be done. There's just time that has to be spent, guys. So I'll just leave you with this, guys. Do the fucking work. I promise you, it is worth it. Do the work. Stop wishing it would be different. Stop trying to get life to give you a discount on the price of success. Do the fucking work, okay? And if you want more motivation on this, you want to understand more about this, click the video on screen, which talks about how to avoid ruining your life before 30, because 99% of guys have ruined their life by 30. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'll talk to you later.